Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Welcome into the Auburn Blitz. It's Randy Lee alongside JJ. Glad to have you here with us from 12 to 1 today. Phone lines are open the entire hour of the program, 256-234-6221. JJ, it's my first program since this past weekend's basketball games.
Yep.
Unfortunately for me and my Auburn Tigers, we played a lot like we have all season long.
You know, I felt great at halftime of that game.
I did too.
Because I was kind of thinking Auburn might knock off Houston right there. And at halftime, I'm thinking, okay, Auburn's going to play this like a home game. They got a crowd. They got,
Yep.
And, boy, in the second half, man, they just couldn't throw one in the ocean.
Couldn't make free throw, couldn't make any shots.
Yeah.
Only a few field goals made there in the second half. And unfortunately, it's kind of what we've seen all season long. You know, you get 41 points against a team that barely gives up 60 in the first half, and then the second half comes in. But I tell you what it did tell me is Houston's a lot better than I expected going in. I should have expected more.
Houston,
they're really good.
They're really good. They're really good. They have not, and they've been so close these last few years, and they just haven't been able to get over the hump in the Final Four. But they certainly look the part right now.
Got guard play. They got strong post play.
Big physical guys down in the post.
Yeah, it's not that they've got the big 7'1" guys. They've got a 3 or 4 headed monster that's 6'9", 240, play physical. I saw the odds, and the odds had Alabama, I think, had the best odds in the country moving into the Sweet 16 to win the national championship.
But now it's Houston. But now
Houston's already jumped. Okay.
This morning they had ESPN had Alabama with a 20.3% chance of winning the national championship, and Houston at like 22%. So.
Yeah, that's still, you've got to like your chances, though, as an Alabama fan sitting over there.
Sure.
To play like you have. But, again, back to the basketball game for Auburn. It was a tough watch there in the second half. I thought offensively, and Bruce Pearl kind of had a smirk on his face going into the halftime break that felt like we played about as well as we could there in the first half, defensively and offensively. But that's kind of where I was going to start the program today is – when you watch that team and you think about the commitments that Auburn currently has, who returns next year, who ends up leaving out, who may transfer, it's a different day and age. You know, you got to know.
There's a chance this Auburn basketball team could be more talented next year than they were this year. I'm not sure that this team had an elite talent on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Had good players. I mean, Wendell Green's a good player. KD's a good player.
Janai's a great player, yeah.
But I'm not sure there's an elite talent on this year's team. And you may have one coming in next year.
Yeah, several of the commitments that you've got in that junior class, which is actually a couple of years down the road, are some of the top recruits in the entire country. Auburn's currently got the top recruit in the state of Alabama committed in that class. But you've got to piecemeal together and maybe go on the transfer portal next year. And hope and pray that the 2 freshmen that Auburn welcome in this year, one either come back ready to go. It feels like the talk around Chance Westry is that he will be back, and he is working towards getting back healthy and has a chance. And that was such a vital piece that I thought Bruce Pearl went out during the offseason and picked up a 6'6" off guard that could really shoot the ball from the perimeter. I think if you were to poll the Auburn fans on what we need more length at guard, and we need somebody who can hit the outside shot, and that's what we thought we were going to get with him. But not all times do commitments and expectations pan out, do they?
You know, it's interesting when you look around college basketball right now, the teams that are favored to get to the Final Four. They generally are built pretty similar, right? I mean, one, you've got to have elite ball handling. You've got to have guard play. 2, you've got to have a presence in the post, 1 or 2 guys that – can keep you off the rim kind of thing. And then you need one elite player. You know what I mean? You look around the teams that are really good, there's usually one elite player. Then there's 3 or 4 really good guys
Yep.
with a rim protector and a good point guard. And you look around, there's a formula, right? And you can kind of build with that, right? Where do you find that one elite player that's going to average 18, 19, 20 points a game?
Unfortunately, a lot of times that elite player has to be a freshman.
Yes, and you're only going to have him for a year or two.
You're only going to have him for a year, so you're piecemealing around a dynamic freshman.
Yeah.
Sometimes, oddly, a player can take a drastic leap from, say, that freshman year into their sophomore year like Walker Kessler did.
Yep.
You know, he goes to North Carolina. He's a decent player at North Carolina. Comes to Auburn. He's a great player.
Yep.
Moves to the NBA. He's even better. So sometimes the progression can work that way, but most times it feels like you're right. You know, you look at the formula for Alabama right now. Quinterly's really playing well. You've got some other pieces that at times are really playing
I'm telling
well.
you, and on that team, don't shortchange the difference that Charles Bediaco's development has made on that team. Because from where he was when he came in a year and a half ago to now, he's a pretty elite rim protector right now.
He's the exact imps of what you're looking for down there too.
Yeah, you know, he's athletic. He gets up and down the floor. He protects the rim. He throws it down if you put it up high enough for him. And so you got to have that, right? You got elite point guard play right now with the way Quinterly's playing. And then you've got the all-around player, Brandon Miller, that can do whatever.
That's the one and doneer.
And you got good depth.
Yeah,
you know.
So Auburn, at least we are in the mix with some recruits to be able to pull off that elite type of player, and maybe some of these pieces that we have. Your thoughts out there? Who's coming back? Who's not? I've heard lots of buzz in the background on which players may return for another senior season, which players may be moving on in the transfer portal. Jalen Williams, what's the story around him? You know, Wendell Green. There's actually a lot of buzz around whether he'll be back next year or not. So love to hear from you. What are you hearing out there? 256-234-6221. Back to the NCAA tournament, though, JJ. Teams that stood out to you this past weekend. Houston did to me.
Yeah, no question.
In the second half, but other teams that really stood out to you?
Yeah, I thought Alabama was pretty impressive taking care of business, and they're going to be tough with Quinterly playing like he's playing. They're going to be a tough out. I think Gonzaga looked
better.
I still have UCLA beating them in the next round, but man, Gonzaga looked the part.
Timmy looked like he did last year.
Yeah.
Where I felt like at times when I watched them last year that I know he doesn't really look like a guy that's going to end up being a dynamic NBA player.
Yeah.
But I thought he was the best college player last year, and I watched the other night and I said, man, there's that guy again. That guy.
Tennessee without their point guard has kind of put it back together now, and you got to give Rick Barnes credit for that. I mean, Rick Barnes, fabulous coach anyway, but you lose an all-conference point guard, you know, with 10 games left in the season. I think they won. They were 7-5 or 5-7, something like that, coming down the stretch, trying to piece that back together. But then they get in the tournament, and boy, Tennessee, pretty impressive. I don't know if they're a Final Four team, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're an Elite Eight team.
I think we're just getting used to what we're seeing out of Arkansas.
Yeah.
I'm almost expecting it at this point.
Yeah.
That team I never thought was going to reach the levels that they have. But after 2 or 3 years consecutively of teams that really start slow and then by the end of the year you're like, well, there's Eric Musselman. There he goes again. And there's those guys. He pieces it together, and
he's another one, too, that you get into tournament time. I mean, you know, he's in the very top of the list of guys you want tournament coaches, right?
What is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bruce Pearl's that way. Bruce Pearl's a great tournament coach. Some coaches are just, when it comes to that one and done, maybe it's the ability to prepare on a short turnaround, the ability to prepare in a day more so than others can. Maybe it's that. There's something, though, where, you know, you get those. There's some guys that are just good at turning around a team at tournament time and getting them ready for a game in 48 hours.
Arkansas, just watching them the other night, I felt like that was a team that could make the 8 again.
Yeah.
Watching, I'm saying, well, they got the dudes. The Bows and the Joes are out here. As long as they're knocking down shots with that guard play that they've got. You know, they went through a little spell there in the middle of the season where they had Smith Jr. out, and that really hurt their team. But now he's back, and he's really playing well and scoring the basketball. I wouldn't want Arkansas moving forward. But that, you know, two of the teams we just talked about, two SEC squads. The SEC's had a good showing in this.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. 8 teams got in. I think 6 were still alive going into last weekend. Still got 3 going into the Sweet 16. You know, it's a pretty good showing.
Strong. You know, Auburn probably playing over their head for at least a half against Houston. And
if there was a disappointment, maybe Missouri. I thought Missouri would survive at least one round. You know, they didn't. But, you know, but that Missouri team really was it was magical for them to even get to a 7 seed because they were put together from scratch. You know, I mean, they you know, all transfers and, you know, different guys.
Yeah, well-coached team, but, you know, I saw them earlier in the year against Auburn. Now, it happened to be at home for Auburn, and I never could get it out of my mind what I saw that night. They just didn't look like they matched up all that well. But your thoughts out there, any surprises here in the NCAA tournament in the early going? Your thoughts on Auburn, how many of these players end up coming back next year, and who do we need to go in the portal and pick up here in the offseason? Bruce Pearl's been pretty good with this. And we'll see which ones of those freshmen hang around another year there at Auburn. We'll go ahead and take our first break here on the Auburn Blitz.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. the clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Had this graphic sent over during the break, so going to read that out real quick, JJ. And that's how many years the current Auburn players that's on the roster have left if they choose. And you said this during the break, so maybe we'll start with this. The COVID year, for one, has become – how many more COVID years are there?
I don't know. We're 2 years removed, so there's a little bit left. I just don't know how much we got left.
We've got players that are hitting up 5, 6, 7 years. And after a while, I think it was Charles Barkley that said it on the broadcast the other night. Come on now. We can't have grown men out here 30 years old playing in the college game. There's a point in time where you've got to cut that off. But here's currently years of eligibility left for Auburn. Jalen's got one. Alan Flanagan's got one. Berman's still with one. Ackingbo, I think Stretch is gone, but he does have one. Wendell Green, 2. KD, 2. Janai, 2. Dylan Cardwell, 2. Trey Donaldson's got 3. Johan's got 3. Chance got the medical red shirt this year, so he's got 4 left. And Holloway there with 4 left. So most of the roster could come back and play. Don't know how many of them do, but I think that will be a key part of the negotiation with Bruce Pearl. And
don't
how
you
many?
think Janai Broome, he's not going to be a first-round NBA draft pick.
I don't think he's going to be a pick, period.
I don't. So it would seem like it would behoove him to come back and play. And maybe Wendell Green as well. So.
I could see Jalen Williams coming back for a year. Flanagan, that one's a 50-50 for me. I don't think he is an NBA guy right now, but I think he's definitely a European guy, somebody that can go out and he's been around a long time, and he's dealt with some injuries too. So we'll see. I don't know if Berman would decide to or not. He found his way this year, and if he's going to grad school or doing something like that at Auburn, maybe it would work out for him. I would love to see him back for another year playing. Wendell Green seems like a 50-50 right now. I don't know if he wants to entertain options that he's got out there. He's been the key guy for Auburn, so I don't know if he's wanting to go somewhere where he'd get more eyes on him than he would be at Auburn. I can't imagine him going anywhere where more would be expected of him than we currently have at Auburn.
Unless you're going to play some G League ball or European ball or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. KD with 2 left. I can't see KD going anywhere. If he did, it would just be a field thing for him. Cardwell, I'm sure, will be back. Donaldson ended up with a strong stretch here in the NCAA tournament, and so really shot the ball well from the perimeter. So I think many Auburn fans are excited to see him back. And Westry, I think, is already healed. All signs point to him already working out and getting back into playing condition, and love to have him back. So I think there's going to be some spots available for Bruce Pearl to go out there on the transfer market and pull some guys in. It just depends on which ones we need and who he goes after.
Ty Sanders says he heard Dylan Cardwell's going to transfer. Says he hopes Green and Williams come back, and I wish Berman would come back. I haven't heard that about Dylan Cardwell, but
I haven't, but I can see it. His minutes went down as the season moved on, and why is that? I don't know. I think from an offensive standpoint, he's limited. Is that fair to say? Yeah. He plays hard. He's a big frame, but I don't see him progressing in a way that's going to get him to the NBA and maybe a move for him would be good for him. So I don't know. I think Auburn fans really enjoy his emotions out there on the court and how hard he plays, a lot like KD.
Yeah.
But do I feel like they're reaching their ceiling there right now? I don't know if I'd answer that yes. right now. So, but, back to looking at this roster talk is going to be of interest because Auburn's only got one current commitment in this class. They filled the next one up. I mean, it's full. It's as good as any class that Auburn's ever had. And this high school junior class that will be coming in, probably, you got to feel all of those guys will finish up their high school career halfway through and then move on over to Auburn after the winter semester next year. So should be a fun group to watch there, but this is going to be one where Bruce Pearl's going to have piecemeal a program together.
Yeah, but that's college basketball right now.
It is.
That's the nature of the sport right now. So, we were talking about this before. I wish we could get back to the days where it was if you want to go pro out of high school, go. If you don't, play 3 years, right? Let's take the baseball model, right? Let's take the football model. Play 3 years, and then move on. But I wish we could get back to that. I don't know if we ever will. It always amazed me that the NBA Players Association never wanted to do it that way.
Yeah.
Because to me, the Players Association, if I'm a veteran player, letting all these kids go one and done is just more competition for my job, right? So, go to college, but stay 3 years. Give me 3 more years to play.
I've always kind of wondered what the thought process was there overall.
Yeah.
Does the college game want to have the Zion marketed Duke jersey as part of their brand moving forward, even if it's just for 1 year? Do the players want to have that college brand moving forward with them like Jabari will have for Auburn throughout his career? Maybe there's a plus to it there. I remember back whenever all of the decision was made to not let them come out right out of high schools because so many kids were making the wrong decision.
Right.
Well, that happens every year in baseball. It's not that it's a wrong decision. It's just a decision that doesn't end up working out. No.
But in baseball, you have the minor league system. So you have, if a player comes out too early, right, and instead of being a first or second round pick, he's 7th, 8th, 9th round pick, that's fine. Here's a little money. We're going to put you on a bus, and you're going to play in Charlotte, and you're going to play in, Waco, and you're going to, and you're going to do that for 2 or 3 years. And then, but if you had that, and I think when the NBA started their developmental league back in the 90s, and I think there was some thought that maybe that would grow into that. It's never really become that. Football, it really works perfectly. College football is the perfect minor league system for the NFL.
Yeah.
Basketball, they've never really been able to get that, going in some kind of way that works.
Yeah, well, in basketball, the numbers are so minuscule of the guys that actually can make the rosters that are available out there.
Yeah.
That you're only going to add maybe 30 dudes a year.
Right.
With 30 dudes coming off of rosters a year. And I know that there's more than that, but I mean like real guys that make.
I mean, you're talking 15 guys on a roster.
Yeah.
30 teams, right? So
just
not a lot of jobs out there, man.
There's not a lot, so I don't know how much development that you have. Whereas in baseball, I mean, how many arms do you have to get through a good baseball season? That's
well,
impossible.
Then you got to fill a AAA, a AA, and a single A team, and you know. So
does help. Go ahead and take another break here on the Auburn Blitz.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Country Clipper zero-turn mowers are designed for comfort, accessibility, and ease of use. Only Country Clipper offers your choice of steering options with industry-exclusive joystick steering or twin-lever steering. Their patented stand-up deck, standard on every model, allows for quick access to the underside of the deck for routine maintenance. With a wide front step and optional handrail, getting on or off your mower has never been easier. Stop by Fun Carts of Opelika today for a test drive. Country Clipper mowers, designed for you. Fun Carts of Opelika, located at 618 Lee Road, 113 in Opelika, Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Kalijah Idol is coming to Lake Martin and the River region. The opening rounds are at Martin's on Lake Martin starting March 17th. Then at Alabama's Little Bit of Texas at Wetumpka from March 31st to April 22nd. Kalijah Idol 15.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cab discounted up to $9,250 off. Chevy Equinox up to $6,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com. Plus, no payments for 120 days at Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back into the Auburn Blitz. Let's quickly go back to the phone lines and bring Terry into the program today. Terry, glad to have you.
Good to talk to y'all guys. How y'all doing?
We're good, buddy.
Fantastic. Guys, I'll give y'all 2 guesses of the one I want to see going the worst, and then the first one don't count.
Well, JJ said it during the break, Terry.
I said during the break when they said Terry's on the phone, I said, well, I think we know Terry's opinion on Wendell Green coming back.
Yeah, he needs to take a slow boat to wherever. As far as I'm concerned, he's a good basketball player. But there's a reason why this guy went to the OVC out of high school. Okay.
Well, Terry, I mean, I think that he seems to be interested in looking around as well. Now, a lot of responsibility has been put on his back over the last couple of years, and can we find somebody else out there that can take on that responsibility? I would hope so, but until that person shows up on campus, it's going to have to be somebody that can go score the basketball at the guard position.
Well, we're just going to sit a bunch of mediocre seasons. But it's darn nice to have a 21 season being a mediocre season, I can tell you that.
Well, I can tell you this, Terry. I thought about you the other day. I was watching Auburn.
Oh, my God.
I was watching the Auburn basketball game, and there was a point in the game there where, offense had gone flat, and So and Wendell Green, took the shot on about 4 straight possessions. And I thought about something that you and I talked about. And because you always say, well, why is he always taking the shot? There wasn't anybody else coming to get the basketball, Terry. There wasn't anybody else that even wanted a shot. And that's not a negative on Wendell Green, because you and I talked about this. People keep going, well, why is Wendell Green always taking the last shot? You have to have the mentality to be willing to take the last shot. Not every player is, and I think Auburn's missing some guys that want to be the guy to take the last. Like Michael Jordan said, I missed a lot more last shots than I hit, but I was willing to take them. And a lot of people just aren't. Wendell Green, to his credit, if nobody else is going to come get the basketball and make something happen, by gosh, I'll take a shot. Okay,
but JJ, on the other side of that, how many people know Wendell Green's not going to give that ball up, and they're not going? The selfishness and the ego is going to take over, and he's not going to give him a chance to take the last shot, period, end of discussion.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying I didn't see a lot of guys moving without the ball the other day.
I agree. I don't disagree with that, but he's not going to give the ball up. Even if he had the chance to get it, he's not giving it up. He's too busy trying to make the ESPN top 10. So, but that's not why I called. What I want to ask you guys about was this. How if the roster does look that much different next year, how do you think some of these guys will take to sitting on the bench or coming off the bench instead of starting? Because that could legitimately happen.
Well, that's a good question. You take Jalen Williams and Alan Flanagan being 2 of them. Can Auburn go out there and bring in some guys that can take their minutes, or do we feel better as Auburn fans that they come back and they keep, maybe taking steps forward for their play to be better? I don't know the answer to that, Terry. Your thoughts? I mean, how about those 2 guys? Would you like to see both of them back next year?
I'd like to see Jalen Williams back. I don't care. I think Alan Flanagan has hit his ceiling. I think he hit it prior to the injury. I think his injury has set him back further than we know. That's not knocking against the young man. He's a fine young man. But at the same time, I think it's set him back more than we'll ever know. I really do. And sometimes that happens to players.
It does. Jalen Williams had a nice game the other night, and he'll have a nice half. Mm-hmm. And then the second half, he's a very odd watch to me. It's all when things are going in a positive direction for him. He can ride that wave, but he can't find his way at times. Second half, I don't know that he took many shots there in the second half.
I think another year Jalen Williams could be a draft pick at the end of the first round or something, and be one of those guys that just sort of like a Bruce Bowen was in San Antonio. Just is there. You look up the end of the night, he's got 14 points and 7 rebounds.
It's a little different now too.
Terry, I agree. I'm not saying
aren't playing
30. It's kind of player.
You got maybe 1 or 2 players per team that are going to play 35 minutes, right? So bench versus starter now doesn't mean what it used to necessarily.
Well, I'll tell you this: he could spend 10 years in the NBA. He'll make more money than me, Randy, or JJ ever has.
That's combined, bro.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, Terry. We appreciate it. And I think a lot of the Auburn fans' talk is around Jalen Williams and do we expect him back, and how much more can we pull out of him? And because I think we all like him. I'll say that. There's nobody I really talk to that goes, man, I can't wait for him to get on out of here and see if we can find somebody better. They don't say that. He carries himself well and has had his moments here at Auburn, and hopefully he can have another year full of moments and maybe take another big step forward. We talked about this during the break, so we'll come in here. The question is, Hugh Freeze, what does he think about his quarterbacks as spring practice is currently going on? And I think Freeze yesterday said they're all very coachable guys, and I'm reading quotes. I don't think that are they likable, coachable guys that want to get better. Hugh Freeze is saying they're all that.
Right.
Now, they got to get better.
Yeah.
Now, I think the question is,
are they an SEC quarterback that can win games?
That can win games.
That's the next question.
And play a system that he wants to play.
Yep.
Which has been quarterback friendly and stat friendly.
Yep.
So I think he thinks these guys are coachable, but needs to see more out of them and hopes that he sees more out of them. No shock there that you'd hear that, is there, JJ?
No, I think you're going to hear. Well, he said, the quarterback room is tough. His quarterback room is tough, and so, but it needs to be. If you're going to be the starting quarterback, there needs to be high expectations and an expectation of high performance through spring practice and fall practice, and what you do in the off season. So
he said, hopefully we will see a turn towards a better understanding. He said it's not a lack of want to, and I'm not sure it's a lack of can do. So, it's not that he sits there and watches and says the talent level is not here for this player here to make it to what I need him to. But right now I'm not seeing that.
Yeah.
God, I think that's he's seeing the same thing all of us have seen for a long time.
You're learning a brand new system, and it's going to take, it's going to take some time to get that. It'll probably be into the season next year before whoever it is really knows the system,
How many college football teams do you think are going to go after players following spring practice? Like, could you see Auburn going after a transfer portal quarterback?
I could at the quarterback position, yes.
Yes.
I'm not sure how many teams are going to go after offensive linemen after spring
Unless
practice.
they just know that they're down one.
Unless it's just somebody that is going to make your rotation right away.
Yeah.
Because, a third-string junior isn't doing me much good, at that position. So,
do y'all think? You think Auburn goes after another quarterback after the spring practice session? Does it go after someone that maybe all signs point to them not being a starter or even being a backup at another program?
I think you got to see who's in the portal, right?
Yep.
Who enters the portal in that next window, and then you're going to know, okay, this is the kind of player that Auburn might take a shot at.
Your thoughts out there, 256-234-6221. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
LNG Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
WF Cabinetry in Alex City has immediate openings for first and second shift production roles in addition to immediate openings for Class A CDL drivers with the ability to be at home weekly. We are ready for you to join our family and grow with us. Prior cabinet experience is always welcome. Second shift offers a flexible 10-hour, 4-day work schedule, giving you a great work-life balance right here at home. WF Cabinetry offers excellent health insurance and 401k benefits as well as an employee purchase discount with daily production bonus opportunities. You can apply in person at 2212 Airport Boulevard in Alexander City or call 256-234-7900.
JJ, it may be a little early for you on a Braves question, but we do have a Braves question.
It's never too early for a Braves question.
So we'll try to get an answer out of JJ on this Braves question. And the question is your thoughts about the Braves sending down Grissom, having to pull someone else over to the shortstop position.
Grissom's been a second baseman his whole young career. Now, let me say this. I don't know what his financial situation is. And, the way baseball works, years in service, how many games did you play? So there could be a financial consideration there too. Taking that out of the list of possibilities, my guess is that he's not taking to the move to short defensively as well as they would like for him to. And so they're let him play some shortstop every day down in the minors.
See how he does.
Where he may not be ready for everyday shortstop at the major league level. That's my guess, and RC will be fine. I mean, RC is a veteran guy. He's played second and short. He can play anywhere in the middle infield. He'll be fine. Grissom has the potential to be a star, but in Major League Baseball, if you're going to be a liability at the shortstop position, they're not going to put you out there. So my guess is he's not quite ready defensively for everyday shortstop.
Jim Hardy has a question here. What do you think about the 3 new rules changes in football being voted on in April? 1, running clock after every first down. 2, no more 2 consecutive timeouts in a row stopping teams from seeing other teams' formation and changing defenses. And 3, no untimed downs to end first and third quarters. You see any issues with any of those 3, Jim?
Don't have a problem really with any of them. I think maybe the most controversial is the running clock on first downs because we're kind of used to – at the end of a half or the end of a game, that get a first down, stop the clock, that kind of thing. But the NFL plays with a running clock after first downs, and it's not a problem there. I mean, it's how you coach the game, right? So better learn to throw those sideline routes.
Well, and also better learn how to have some go-to routes and some go-to plays that's not really a called play.
That's right.
That's what I see with the NFL. You know, it's like we're stretched for time.
Yeah.
We're going to run these things and not going to really have to be communicated. You know what's coming. And
that's right.
We're trying to get it and get the ball out of bounds.
Clock's running. Quarterback looks at the outside receiver. They understand what each other's looking at each other for. The receiver runs 8 yards to the sideline and hit him and he falls out of bounds. Right? You see that all the time. That's an uncalled play. There's not a name for that play. That's just quarterback looks at the receiver and says, you know what I need you to do. Right? So and they get it that way. But, yeah, it'll make it more challenging late game situations. It'll make it more challenging for college teams. It'll also speed up the game a little bit. So like I was telling you, I can watch an NFL game in 2 hours and 45 minutes pretty much every Sunday, where if I sit down to watch a college football game, I'm still sitting there 4 hours later.
I think college football has changed so drastically over the last 25 years with the amount of plays that are played.
Mm-hmm.
The speed of getting plays in and the no-huddle offenses and the tempo-paced game that we've seen. I would guess, what would you guess the amount of plays per team is up from in 25 years?
Well, it used to be that you would get
50 to 55
I'm going to guess it's
plays.
I'm going to 50 to 55, maybe 60 on a, if you're having a really good day and picking up a bunch of first downs. And my guess is it's probably up 10, 15 plays a game on average. would be my guess.
I wonder if they
15
would like to pull that back down based off.
And
of
I
this.
mean 15 a game per team.
Per team, on average, yes.
Yeah.
And some teams even more drastic than that,
Yeah.
those teams that want to get 80 plays in a game.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the old Gus Malzahn when he started. I don't know what happened. Because for whatever reason, he started that way and he digressed and he did not want to keep going with what was bringing him success. But I'll not talk much more about that. But he wanted to get 80 plays in a game.
Yeah.
That was kind of his talk. And we bought into that, and that has changed. And I would guess the average was 50 to 55 before then, and I'm guessing the average is now 70 plays a game, and it used to be 55.
I would guess that, yeah. That sounds about right. Feels right.
Jim, do you dislike any of these three that have been enacted? If so, which ones? Which ones do you not like? Auburn baseball was playing last night. JJ, what happened to the midseason game between Auburn and Alabama at Riverfront?
I don't know.
You might know that one. I don't either. I mean, it felt like a good thing, a fun thing. Over in the city of Montgomery, you know, is that Biscuits
great
Park?
Facility,
great facility, and something that I would figure both fan bases enjoyed. Both teams won them. It wasn't like Auburn won way more or Alabama won way more than the other. I didn't think it was a bad setup, and but nonetheless, Auburn played South Alabama last night and gets off the snide.
Right.
It's been a tough go the last 2 weeks for Auburn baseball and softball, but pick up a good victory against the South Alabama squad that's been good my whole life.
Yeah.
They're always good, aren't they, JJ?
For some reason, they can always play baseball.
They do. You live down there for a while. It's just an area that loves the sport.
It is, especially on that eastern shore part, that whole Spanish Fort area there on the eastern shore, Fairhope. I mean, you see Little League teams with I mean, they've got the traveling fan bases and everybody's got matching backpacks and they've got sponsors, so-and-so insurance agency and,
They take it serious, don't they?
I mean, they get after it, boy, on that eastern shore. And, so that whole eastern shore side is really, really into some baseball. Gulf Shores, too, to a degree, but, yeah.
Good win, though, for Auburn last night. Sets up a matchup against Georgia this weekend, Thursday through Saturday. It was not a good start to the SEC schedule this past weekend. You and I have talked a lot about this, JJ. I'm getting a little worried that our pitching may not be where we exactly thought it was.
You said that before, yeah.
We seem to be swinging the bats pretty well, but if you can't throw two dynamic aces out there in SEC play on the weekend consistently, you're going to struggle, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. But that's any level of baseball, right?
Yeah.
I don't care how good your lineup is. You better have some pitching. And it's any level of baseball.
Arkansas now 3-0, 18-2 overall. It's LSU went 2-1 this past weekend. They're 18-2 overall. Alabama 1-2 this past weekend, 17-4. And all the way down here at the bottom is Auburn and Mississippi State. Both went 0-3. Auburn's 13-6 overall. Mississippi State's 13-8. So can Auburn get off the snide? Playing a Georgia team this weekend didn't start well last weekend either. They went 0-3. So need to take advantage of having them this weekend and Auburn get back on their winning ways. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Kalijah Idol is coming to Lake Martin and the River region. The opening rounds are at Martin's on Lake Martin, starting March 17th. Then at Alabama's Little Bit of Texas at Wetumpka from March 31st to April 22nd. Kalijah Idol 15.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce, because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
OGS Tournaments. Russell Marine and State Farm agent Aaron Warren present Crank for Bank 2023, April 1st through July 4th. Win over $1.5 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 50 tag crappie are waiting on you. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or shores of Lake Martin. Get registered now online at crankforbank.com for only $110 for 13 weeks of fishing. It's Crank for Bank 2023.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bugs Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bugs Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bugs Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bugsisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bugs quote.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true, and the names have been changed because Brubaker Motors has sold to Sons Automotive. You heard right. Brubaker Kia is now Sons Kia of Montgomery. Furthermore, Sons Automotive is a family business with dealerships throughout the Southeast. The name Sons Automotive is synonymous with trust, and they care about the communities they're a part of. They're excited to serve the River region, and in the interest of justice, you will be served a sentence of big savings. Sons Kia of Montgomery, family owned, family driven.
JJ, it's hard for me to believe that Nick Saban would take a shot at Nate Oates yesterday, but it definitely read like there was not necessarily a shot fired, but there was. If you're never in the wrong place at the wrong time, don't use that as an excuse.
Collateral damage is what it is, but because it is a different situation. Tony Mitchell was arrested and charged with very serious crimes.
Yep.
Brandon Miller's never been arrested or charged with anything. So it is a different situation, but I'm quite sure when that video surfaced of Nick Saban saying there's no such thing as wrong place, wrong time, I'm sure Nate Oates went, come on, man.
Especially right now.
So it was one of those things. But listen, I tell my kids this all the time. He's right. He's right. You do have to be responsible for who you put yourself around, who you hang out with.
And what's going on when you're with them.
Sometimes there can be somebody that you care about, that you're friends with, that you have the best intentions for helping them. But if you follow them into risky situations, then it's eventually going to touch you in some way. And, you know, I mean, we all tell our kids that when they're growing up, right? My parents told me that. You know, there's you got to be careful who you put yourself around, because if there's somebody who seems to follow trouble, you don't want to follow them, right? That's
because they're going to bring it with them.
That's right. And eventually it's going to land on you.
Good points. I thought it was, you know, of course, with us Auburn faithful, we have to read between the lines, and that's exactly what he was saying. He was taking a shot, but understand clearly. Back to Auburn spring football, though, we talked about the quarterback position. I think the one thing that most Auburn fans understood that we were deficient on is, you know, a defensive end, pass rushers. This is not a team that once Derek Hall went down last year and Iku went down with a little bit of an injury, then we struggled to even find warm bodies to throw out there, and that's a wild thing to say in SEC in the way that it is today, JJ.
Edge rushers are you know, I mean, they're a huge part of today's game, right? So that's an area you can look in the transfer portal. You can find, and they may not be an All-American level player, but you can find a guy that's a competent pass rusher, maybe playing in a smaller school or you know, something like that you can.
Auburn's going to have to do a lot of that. You know, here in this offseason, yesterday Hugh Freeze saying we have to recruit more. We're not where we need to be rushing the passer. We are deficient in true pass rushers, and that we are. Now, he was very high on one incoming freshman that will hopefully bring some of that pass rushing to the field, and that's Keldrick Falk. A late get from Highland Home. JJ, that was a massive get for Auburn to kind of swing him from Florida State, who was committed to for quite some time, and get him over. And Hugh Freeze said Keldrick Falk is what you're supposed to look like.
Right.
He knows what they're supposed to look like. Unfortunately, we haven't had many times we haven't had enough come up from the high school ranks that look like Keldrick Falk.
Yeah, and you need, you know, I mean, you're going to need 3, 4, 5 of those guys to get through a season. You know what I mean? So that would be a position I would think that you could poach the transfer portal pretty good on.
I think there's those Bows and Joes out there. You're just going to have to pick and choose the right ones, and that's the hard part about transfer.
It's like running back, right? Like if you're looking for a running back, you can go to the portal. You can find one. If you're looking for a wide receiver, you can go to the portal. You can find one. That doesn't mean they're going to be an All-American, but you can find a guy. Right? So
things that scare me, JJ, are not the Western Kentucky guys that end up at Auburn.
Yeah.
Because they outperformed the conference that they're playing in.
Right.
It's the LSU guys that we get to Auburn.
Right. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what part of Auburn feels like a better fit for you than LSU or Alabama? Vice versa for all of us out there. You know, there always feels like if it's a lateral move, what are we getting?
As an Alabama fan, I understood completely why Anthony Steen would transfer from Vanderbilt to Alabama to play left tackle.
I do. Right? I could too.
Because that's a financial decision that makes a whole lot of sense for Anthony Steen. At the same time, as an Alabama fan, you look at it and go, you mean our left tackle's a Vanderbilt guy?
Yeah.
You know, you wonder, right? So sometimes on the transfers, you know, it's like, left tackle? We had to go to Vandy to get a left tackle. So that can be an indicator of an issue, right?
Auburn held a pro day yesterday. Cam Newton back on campus, JJ, throwing the ball, wanting NFL teams to see him. I think he used
He's
some.
He's not ready to go, is
he used some colorful terms out there to say there's no way there's 32 better guys out there than me. And sounds like he did pretty well, threw the ball well, and had a number of Auburn players. Did you see Shedrick Jackson's 40 time?
Did not.
4.25.
Woo, that's a good one.
4.25 40 for Jackson. Did any of you out there that are Auburn fans know he could run like that? I had no earthly. I remember watching him at Hoover. Remember thinking that he's an undersized semi-slot receiver because he didn't come off as a speedster to me. But I thought he was tough and durable and would be, you know, a success at a certain level with a certain ceiling at Auburn. I had no clue the guy could run a 4.25. Who's run more? How many sub 4.25s have there ever been run?
I can't imagine there's been that many. You know,
you know, there was talks that Bo Jackson had the fastest 40 time.
It was an unofficial 4.18 or 4.19, something like that.
I remember Chris Johnson. You remember that name?
Yeah.
Chris Johnson ran like a low 4.2 40. running back, and that ended up parlaying into a heck of an NFL career. I think he had over 2,000 yards rushing one year, if memory serves me right. But I can't think of very many 4.25 40s. And, you know,
you just don't hear that very often.
Does that get him – does that number get him looks?
Oh, at the very least, I mean, you got to be thinking of, I get a number 4 or 5 receiver I can throw in the slot, and a guy that can return kicks. I got something.
Something's there. Colby Wooden, Derek Hall, Owen Papo, Tank Bigsby, Iko Leotis, just some of the names during pro day there at Auburn. But I think the biggest buzz, again, was Derek Hall, but also that 40 time for Shed Jackson. I had no clue he had that type of speed. It runs in the blood. But we dang sure didn't see him at Auburn looking like his uncle.
Right.
He was a pretty good player, but he was nowhere near his uncle. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in to the Auburn Blitz today. For JJ, I'm Randy saying we'll be back with you tomorrow.